Hello and welcome to our Quick E for March 7th, 2013. Actually, this video was recorded last year before we came up with the IGManagerTV YouTube channel and the Quick E idea. So this is a just a little repackaging of a video from last year. And this is moving IG StoreCharge from one computer to another. We can have the situation where a computer crashes, hard drive crashes, or just the computer gets old and they want a new one. So this is going to go over some of the things that the procedure to do for that, and some of the pitfalls and how to fix some of them. Once again, you can see the screen is red, so that means this is for dealers only, which means this information is for support personnel only. If you're a customer, go ahead and you can watch it so you can see what's all involved, but do not do anything in here. If you do stuff that's listed here, you could cause problems and then incur support charges. So sit back and relax and enjoy the Quick E moving IG StoreCharge.
Okay, we're having a rash of calls coming in of people moving StoreCharge from one PC to another, which usually means either we got some awesome salesmen out there or we have crashing PCs. I'm going to go with the crashing PCs idea. But anyway, so there is the procedure to move IG StoreCharge from one machine to another is pretty much really simple. There's only two spots that there's a gotcha, and we'll go over those when we hit them. Alright, the steps are, first of all, to install the base StoreCharge on the new PC, then to bring over the original PC files. Then you got to deal with lump INI, and then you got to test it. So this procedure is rather basic, and if you follow this, you should be okay, assuming all your data is intact. Okay. So first thing is install the base StoreCharge on a new PC. You're going to get this from the www.igmanager.us website. On the dealer section, right-hand side, there's version 4 and version 5. Okay. Only do this step if you know what the old version was. Do not attempt to install version 5 and then copy over version 4, or the same way, install version 4 and dump in version 5. Not going to work. So if you don't know it, don't do this step. But if you do know what the version was, you really want to do this, because what this is going to do, it's going to set up the shortcuts for you. It's going to register the files we need to make this thing work. You can do a manual install if you have to, and we'll go over that after we go through the steps. And the next step is really easy. Bring over the original PC files. You want everything that was in the IGM folder on the old computer. Whatever you can get out of that, dump it into the new computer's IGM folder over top of anything that was just installed. Okay? Now we got to deal with lump INI. Lump INI is the configuration file for all of the files in IGManager, including StoreCharge. Depending on who did your install, when it was done, what version, what phase the moon was in, this file could be anywhere. It could be in the IGM folder, it could be in Windows or WinNT, or depending on how their user settings were, they could be in other mystical, magical places on the Windows file system. Okay, why do we even have this problem? Version 4, which was the first release that came out for general use by dealers, relied on the OS to keep track of where the lump INI was, and that was perfectly fine, lasts a long time. The problem was we wanted to start allowing multiple workstations to access the StoreCharge data, and that meant that the workstations weren't able to find the lump INI with the settings in it. So what we did was, in now version 5 and beyond, when any IGManager program starts up, it looks in the file directory it started in, looks for a lump INI. If there is a lump INI and it has version equals 5.0 in the init section, then it's going to use that lump INI for all of its settings. So that way, if you're mapped over from Q, you're running in a Q drive, Z drive, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the same set of settings. Okay, which points out to you, if you just copy IGM, you're probably not going to bring the configuration file along with it. Okay, which has happened in numerous calls that we've had. Okay, so back to dealing with lump INI. The best thing to do is, on the old computer, as much as you can, look for all of the lump ionize that are there. Look for the one in Dave's backup 33 or whatever. And what you want to do is note where they were and what their timestamps were on the old computer. Then what you want to do is, if it's possible, bring those lump ionize and put them in the same spots. So if you're going XP to XP, if you found one in Windows, put one in Windows. If you found one in blah, put it in blah. If you're going Win 2000 to XP, or I hope nobody's still out there running Windows 98 or ME to the new year, you might have to change some directory names in your idea. If you're moving from XP 2000 to Windows 7, I need you to be warned, Windows 7 is evil. Okay? Windows 7 now has that user thing where every user has their own INI file, which doesn't work very well for this situation. So when we do with Windows, going to Windows 7, bringing over stuff, we have to figure out which lump INI on the old computer was the one that was running the show. Okay, the first thing you look at is, where was it? Okay, if there's only one lump INI, more than likely that's the one. It was probably in the Windows directory. If you had one in the IGM folder and it has version equals 5, that's the one you want to use. If you can't tell by that, look at the date and the timestamp. The last one that got touched is probably the one that's running all your config. Your third choice is guess. Look at them, pick one, and choose that one as your prime. Once you know what the prime one is, you're going to put it in your new IGM directory, and you're going to make sure it has version equals 5 in the init section, if it's not already there. Okay. And as you're going along, if things aren't right, if the port settings are wrong, the statement setup is wrong, then you probably have the wrong INI. Put another one in there, put one of the other ones you had found in, do this to it, and try to run off of that one. Okay, which leads you right into testing. The first thing you need to do is go into StoreCharge and enter every area. Okay, what I mean by that is you want to go into StoreCharge and you want to go in every place, make sure you can actually go all over, make sure you can look at the detail, make sure you can go places. If you get anything that comes up, whoops, that was probably a bad thing to do while running a demo. But anyway, if you come up with any error as you're running, as you go into these places, you're probably going to need to contact us, because you probably have data corruption, and in some cases we can fix it by removing some files and making IGManager rebuild, or you may just have lost some data. Okay. Once you're done once you got StoreCharge up and you can get into things, you're going to start the host. There's my send to my front end that I had from that very poor choice of clicking. Okay. So you're going to start the TCP/IP StoreCharge host. Okay. You're going to have to fight the firewall. That's just the way it is. And then make sure ACE actually connects up with your host. Okay. Once ACE does connect, go ahead and do a 1 penny charge on any existing account. Remember, 1 penny is the poor man's customer balance. Since we're not able to do a 21 sign-on in the middle of a transaction, this is the best we can do, which is do a 1 penny and come back. And that rejection is going to come back saying the customer's name and their balance. If you do the 1 penny and you get a B311, a B309, one of the IBM errors, then we're not talking. If you get an R back and it's not the customer's name or the wrong customer name, or something crazy like, what does it say, invalid len, something like that, then one of your settings is wrong, and we'll need to probably contact us and we'll figure out what setting is wrong. More than likely, we didn't get the right INI. Okay. So, really, the setup of the new StoreCharge is not that difficult. The first gotcha is that lump INI, trying to get the right lump INI over there. The second gotcha will get you if you were not able to do the install from the install programs, and that means you have to do a manual install. Okay, so with a manual install, you're going to go ahead and bring over the files with all you can get, and then deal with the lump INI as we've already talked about. Okay. Then in the from the command prompt, this is a command prompt. You can't do it from Windows Explorer. You can't do it from anything else. You got to get an honest-to-God command prompt in the IGM directory, and you're going to do reg server. Let's make sure I even have it here. No, I don't. But what you're going to do, alrighty. There it is. So, you're going to do this command here, which is reg server 32 CSWSK OCX. So it's reg server 32 CSWSK 32 OCX. Okay? You should see that lovely reg server succeeded. Okay? If this file doesn't exist, you're not going to be able to register it. Also, if you're Windows 7, you have to run your command prompt as an administrator. That's promoting it. You have to, when you click on the command prompt icon, or you do run command, when you click on it to start it, you have to be holding down your control and shift keys, or right click on it and say run as administrator. Remember, administrator is not the user you're signed in as, it's actually administrator like you're using it as a root user. Okay? Okay, once you've got that done, you got to make the shortcuts on your desktop. They're going to need a shortcut for StoreCharge EXE, that's the program that they play with, and for TCP/IP EXE. You're also going to need a shortcut in the startup folder to start TCP/IP, the host, when the computer starts up. Now, TCP/IP can be started with the small option. Okay, and what the small option does is it runs TCP/IP in the taskbar. So if I go ahead and minimize him, see how I minimize my StoreCharge and he just stays over here. If I started him, if I start my StoreCharge host, he starts and throws himself down here in the taskbar. Okay? And here he is running here. Alright. So it'll run in the task tray. That way they don't have to remember to keep it running. Version 4, early installs did not have that option. Okay. If you try to set up with the /small, and you were originally set up with this lovely setting here to automatically start host, you will crash. Now, why would you say that? Because you have two parts of this program are trying to run the same darn thing, this little host guy in here. So if you're running with small, you cannot have this checked. Okay? So save it. And he'll start up and put himself over here. And here he is. Okay? If you still can't get it to work, okay, even if you ran the install, go ahead, hunt down your CSWSK32.ocx and register it. Make sure it can be registered. Okay? And my favorite, even if Windows Firewall says it's disabled, sometimes it's not. So open up Windows Firewall, go to Advanced, reset to defaults, which will turn it back on, and then disable it again. And then restart everything. That is a good majority of when we have problems. That's the problem. Whoop. Okay. If you do all that and you still don't get a connection from the point of sale, attempt to do your own connection to your own host. And what you're going to do is you're going to open a telnet to your StoreCharge. And the way you do that is you look at your StoreCharge. I'm sitting on port 6666. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go telnet, my IP address, which could be that. So it's the IP address of this box. It's the IP address of this box and the port number. Now if you watch this here, when I hit enter, I connect. I'm now connected. Telnet says I'm connected. I got a little flashy cursor. And over here in StoreCharge host, I have communications event. And if I type and do anything, and you're really a glutton for punishment, you can see that we're getting data. Okay, so what that proves is that your StoreCharge can take connections from somewhere. If you could do that on the Windows computer itself, go to another computer and attempt to do the same thing. Attempt to do it from the controller. Just the controller Telnet is VT100. But if you can't, if you try to do it from here, from your local computer, and it still doesn't work, then make sure that the port is correct, and you can tell it by looking at the StoreCharge. Check for other firewalls and virus, quote, protection programs that cause more problems than they fix. Somebody might be in the way. Okay. The other thing to look at, if you come in here and instead of waiting for store, you see something like unused, that usually means, and I can make that happen here, I can start a second one. Oh, nope, not going to let me do it. So if it comes up and says unused, that usually means that our OCX isn't registered or is misbehaving, in which case we'd have to register the OCX again. Or maybe just reboot. Maybe you've got a StoreCharge running somebody else as another task, okay? And of course everybody knows how to check that with Task Manager and look for TCP/IP. Make sure you choose for Show All Programs. Alright, if you still cannot get the thing to work, you have done all this, you've brought it over, you have your test, you can get your connection, you can't get the point of sale, whatever, give us a call. Okay, and when I say call, the best way is email, because I can answer you while I'm doing other things and watching movies. Okay, and that's ken.moyer@interstatepos.com. If you are having a if you're stuck, you can go ahead and call Interstate Cash Register 757-461-1600. Tell them what your problem is. Don't just ask for me. Tell them what the problem is, and if you're in a big problem, ask to talk to any technician that can help you with StoreCharge. Now you're probably, if you've done all these steps right, then you're probably going to have to move to me anyway. But the technician can at least talk to you, find out exactly what the problem is, and then hunt me down, and we can help you try to figure it out. And of course, standard support rates apply. Okay, so once again, moving StoreCharge from one PC to another is not bad. It's not that difficult if you take care of the order that you do it and make sure you get your lump INI straight. 9 times out of 10, the calls I get, they've done the copy over and things no longer work. The statement's the wrong type. The statement doesn't add up right anymore. They won't talk anymore. All kinds of things are usually caused by not getting that lump INI from the old computer. Now, of course, are you dead if you can't get the lump INI? No, it's just going to be more of a pain to get you set up. So once again, it's very easy. Install the right version on the new computer if you can. Bring over everything you can get from StoreCharge. Deal with the lump INI, and then test it. It should get you through most of it. Once again, I hope I never have to talk to you about it, but if you do, give us a yell, shoot me an email, or give us a yell, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you.